Hello, Pan. In this screencast, I will give you feedback to last week's summary. So let's begin. In the video, you want to mention the title of the video. Jeff Bezos, the name, argues that, that's good. It's important to state the first idea, the main idea, argumentatively. So you've chosen a good reporting verb. In order to be a successful entrepreneur, it is important to manage your time. So basically you've listed all the things here. I suppose you can do it in that way, but then you only have 200 words, right? We stick to the word limit as closely as possible. And then you will end up repeating those things. So to save time and space for the word limit, you can just say that it's important for successful entrepreneurs to follow certain rules, or Jeff Bezos argues that the recommendations he has to future entrepreneurs are important for their success, something like that. So you avoid repeating first here all the tips and then later on in the body of the paragraph. Okay, now let's see about those supporting ideas. In the first clip, he claims that although all people have the same amount of time, proper control of time in their work makes people, there's too many people here, you probably want to be more precise in your word choice. A little bit more precise. Who are these people? Future business owners, professionals, managers, like that. So their work makes them more successful, whereas in the second clip he states that everyone has a passion. Again, it's a bit general. Everyone, people, persons, right? We want to be very specific, because academic language is very precise, right? So whereas in the second clip he states that everyone has a passion, and by following it you can find your calling. Okay, so you see how, because now you don't have too much space, now you are forced to kind of smoosh those ideas together into one sentence. But instead of that, you could use some of this, the words that you're going to save here, to explain a little bit more. So I would say take each idea separately in a separate sentence and just expand by explaining a little bit more. So for instance here, he claims that all the people have the same amount of time. You actually do not need this. Just stick with the recommendation. His first recommendation is that proper control of time can be helpful in what? Right? And continue. Secondly, a second recommendation he gives is that as a future business professional or manager or whatever, business owner, however you want to put it, it is important to find your passion. It is important to find your calling. Because of what? See, you have to add a little bit, right? So by splitting those into separate sentences, this will allow you to include the tip, but also include a very brief commentary. Why is that important? It's important to manage your time because of blah, blah, blah. It's important to find your calling because of blah, 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 right? The reason why it's important is also should be included. That's kind of part of the tip, right? Another thing that was mentioned by the speaker is being ingenious and using, right? We need a parallel structure. Being and using your own opportunities to get out of different situations as one of the key concepts. Okay, so you don't need this here. You can just say one of the key recommendations or whatever. Another important recommendation gives, or another thing mentioned by Bezos, is the importance of being ingenious and finding your own solutions to different situations, right? He talks about resourcefulness, and I think you have tried to include a good synonym here. Ingenious is not a bad substitute for resourceful, although it is a little different. But that's fine. You can just stick with the supporting idea. It's important to find your own way out of difficult situations, right? So here use is parallel structure, and you do not need this as one of the key concepts, right? So in other words, try to be as succinct as possible, but then at the same time you need to expand a little bit to include an explanation. Why is this particular tip important? What is that going to give you, right? And because you only have 200 words, if you explain every tip and the reason why it's important, you will have to do this very concisely. So this is a real exercise in achieving a balance between a full explanation of every recommendation, but also doing it in a very succinct form. Okay. So here we need a parallel structure. Is being ingenious and using your own, again, see, using your own opportunities to get out of and finding your own solutions to difficult situations. That's it. Okay, no need for this. This just adds to the word count. Okay, at the same time, he states that to be able to dream and start from the smallest, he states that to be able to dream and start from the smallest, to realize your dreams and not to choose any path but to okay, there's too many twos here and I got lost in these infinitives. I'm not sure what's going on. I would just say split it up into a simple, however many simple sentences you would need for this. Split it up and just make it very clear and focused. So he states he discusses the importance, or he states that it is important to be able to dream. And that is one of the recommendations. Do you see how basically what you've done is you've ended up repeating those but without the explanation? You see? So say a little bit about the dream. It's important to be able to dream. Why? Because this will give you a purpose in your business venture. That's it. Clear and simple. Move on to the next one. Another recommendation for those who want to start a business. Start small. Start on a small scale and let the company expand naturally. That's it. Again, simple sentence focused on that particular advice. Full stop. Move on to the next one. Right? Here then he talks about the strengths were given to you as a gift requires a lot of perseverance and work. Okay, fine. Yeah, he's talking about be ready to work very hard. Don't be satisfied with your gifts, but just choose the hard way. Just work hard to improve what you already have. Right? Something like that. I mean, you phrased it okay here, but it's just a part of such a big sentence. You probably want to separate that on its own because it's a separate supporting idea. Okay. But to develop the strengths that were given to you as a gift, okay, requires a lot of perseverance and work from you, and this is what will lead you to success. Okay. Yeah, definitely split, because it's not even grammatical, this sentence. I mean, it's just more like a run-on sentence. It just keeps going on and on and on. Right? So I would just say split it up in simple sentences for each supporting idea. Okay. To develop the strengths that were given to you as a gift requires a lot of, yeah, sure. That's what he says. Additionally, Bezos recommends to future entrepreneurs not to be satisfied with their gifts, with the gifts they have, with the talents they have, but also to work very hard to develop those. That's it, you know, simple and clear. After all, after all is not really a good linking device. After all is like, it means something a little different. Just say something like in conclusion, or finally, or the speaker concludes by, you know, something like that. After all is different. It's actually quite different. I don't know. In Russian, it would be something like "в конце концов" or something, which is different. It's about argumentation. It's about the meaning is different. Okay, it is important to follow all these concepts in order to be a great creator of company. Sure. So I like the conclusion. You've tried again. This is important. You've tried to summarize everything in one concluding sentence, which is exactly what you need to do. Very good. Now here, okay, maybe, but he's not really talking about. He's not implying that all of us should create great companies. Here it's a bit too grandiose, you know. Not everybody can be like him. But we still need to follow these concepts, these recommendations, if we want to be successful in business. So say something a little bit smaller scale, right? I mean, how many people can be great creators of companies? There aren't that many great entrepreneurs. It's impossible, right? Imagine everyone creating a great number of companies. There'd be too many companies, right? So here you could just say something smaller scale, something about success, you know, something about it's important for business, for entrepreneurs to follow these concepts in order to be successful in their ventures. That's it. But overall, the structure is good. There is cohesion here. You've used reporting verbs, cohesive devices. You know, you've mentioned the speaker several times, so the style is pretty clear. I would just say use more simple and focused and clear sentences, simple sentence structure, which will help you to just say it more clearly. And it will also allow you to explain a little bit about each tip, each recommendation. Okay, from now on, Ulpan, I will be giving feedback to the evidence paragraph. So this is the last feedback on a summary for this semester. But I can see that you have a very solid foundation here. You've understood the structure. You know, your language is pretty good, so good work overall, and good luck on the summary in the exam.